The morning sun shone brightly over the city as Daniel stepped out of his apartment and joined the crowd moving through the busy streets. Everyone seemed to be rushing somewhere. Cars filled the roads, phones filled people's attention, and schedules filled every moment of the day. Daniel was no different. His life revolved around work, deadlines, and goals. Every day began the same way. Wake up, go to work, come home tired, sleep, repeat. At first, he believed this was normal. After all, everyone around him was doing the same thing. But deep inside, a question quietly followed him wherever he went. Is this really what life is about? He ignored the question. He buried it beneath meetings, responsibilities, and distractions. But the question refused to disappear. One afternoon, while eating lunch alone in a crowded cafe, Daniel noticed something unusual. An elderly woman sat at a nearby table. Unlike everyone else, she wasn't looking at a phone. She wasn't rushing. She simply sat there smiling peacefully. There was a calmness about her that caught Daniel's attention. For some reason, he couldn't stop looking. Finally, their eyes met. The woman smiled warmly. "Busy day?" she asked. Daniel laughed. "When isn't it?" The woman nodded. Then she asked a simple question. "What are you so busy chasing?" Daniel opened his mouth to answer, but no words came out, because he honestly didn't know. That evening, the question stayed in his mind. What was he chasing? More money, more success, more approval, more things? And if he got all those things, then what? For the first time, Daniel realized he had never stopped long enough to think about it. A few days later, he visited his parents. While helping clean a storage room, he found an old family photo album. He sat down and began turning the pages. There were pictures from birthdays, family gatherings, vacations, simple dinners together. Everyone was smiling. No expensive cars, no luxury houses, no major achievements, just people enjoying one another. Daniel noticed something surprising. Those were some of the happiest moments of his life, and none of them had anything to do with success. On the drive home, he thought deeply. He had spent so much time trying to build a better future that he had forgotten to enjoy the present. He had become focused on achievements while neglecting relationships, focused on possessions while ignoring purpose, focused on temporary things while forgetting eternal ones. And suddenly, he understood a truth many people overlook. The most valuable things in life cannot be purchased. Love cannot be bought. Peace cannot be bought. Purpose cannot be bought. Faith cannot be bought. Friendship cannot be bought. Yet these are the very things people need most. Weeks passed. Daniel started making small changes. He called friends he hadn't spoken to in a long time. He spent more time with family. He began helping others whenever he had the opportunity. Most importantly, he started spending time with God again. Not because he wanted something, not because he needed a miracle, but because he wanted a relationship. The more time he spent in prayer, the more clearly he saw what mattered. One evening, Daniel volunteered at a local shelter. While serving meals, he met a man who had lost nearly everything. Despite his hardships, the man smiled constantly. His joy seemed impossible. Daniel finally asked him, "How can you stay positive after everything you've been through?" The man smiled. "Because I learned something important." "What is it?" The man looked directly at him. "When you have God, you still have hope. And when you have hope, you still have everything that truly matters." Daniel felt those words settle deep within his heart. As months passed, life became different. Not perfect, not easy, but meaningful. The problems didn't magically disappear. Challenges still came. Difficult days still happened. Yet something inside him had changed. He no longer measured success by what he owned. He measured success by how he lived, by how he loved, by how he served, by how closely he walked with God. One day, a young co-worker asked him, "What's the most important lesson you've ever learned?" Daniel smiled. He remembered the busy years, the endless chasing, the emptiness, and the truth that changed everything. He answered, "Don't spend your life chasing things that won't matter in the end." The co-worker looked curious. "So what does matter?" Daniel replied, "Faith matters, love matters, family matters, kindness matters, purpose matters, and your relationship with God matters more than anything else." Many people spend their entire lives searching for happiness in places where it can never be found. They search in money, in success, in fame, in possessions. But real fulfillment comes from something deeper. It comes from knowing why you were created. It comes from living for something greater than yourself. It comes from walking with God every day. So if there's one truth you should never ignore, it's this. The things that matter most in life are not things at all. They are the people you love, the faith you live by, and the God who never stops loving you. Don't ignore this truth. The end